Hey, what's happening, guys? We're going to jump right into the market here. It's not wasting any time. Just a quick glance at the CoinMarketCap list. We see it's a mixed day. It's starting to pan out to be a little more green than it was earlier. Uh, Everything's pending though right now, of course. If we look at the global chart, we're starting to get the illusion of support here. It's unknown. Obviously, it's the 24th. Everybody's waiting to see what happens when the next round of futures contracts is dealt with on the market in 2 days on the 26th. It's tragic that we're sitting here staring at that. Futures are obvious tools to manipulate the market with vested interest in cryptocurrency coupled with simultaneous investments in the futures contracts, which will pull and push the price around as the futures contracts are only allowed in very large purchase orders, and the expiration dates will always affect us. I think anybody watching this video at this point probably knows that, so let's not waste any time talking about that. But here we are on the market, and we're getting some uplift. There's a couple opportunities to make money there if you got into kind of super short term or day trading. I was looking at the old day trading metrics, and I just don't feel like day trading. It's one of the most kind of annoying, time-consuming things to take up your daytime. You're watching candlestick charts throughout the day, and it's just not what I feel to be a worthwhile venture. My hopes on cryptocurrency has always been to catch nice swings and momentums, and of course, as we dial out big chunks of bull markets and super bull markets, and that's my hope for cryptocurrency itself. To those who day trade, I know what it's like. I was involved with that in the stock market, and if it's for you, it's for you. Good luck and congrats on any wins you make on that. There's definitely some opportunities. You can turn choppy markets into steady upstreams if you get out at the right time, but it is what it is. Let's see. Let's look at the. This is the same CoinMarketCap. This is the daily row, but I like this chart. It's got the 7-day percent, 24-hour percent, and the 1 hour, and you can just find that in these menus up here, I think. And it's been a while. It's just ripped on my bookmark, but if you look at this, you can see a lot of 7-day growth. Some people got some of these got their numbers busted up a little bit. 24 hours, that's the first look we had, and then the 1 hour. The 1 hour is starting to grow again. If somebody were asking me today, what do you think is going to happen in the global? Honestly, at this point, with the futures contracts coming in, any kind of growth we have here, is it in danger of being sabotaged or who knows, supported? We got to wait and see. The crypto market's still bracing on how to deal with the futures contracts, and I don't enjoy it. I wish they never showed their face in this market. The more stock market influence I see walking into the crypto market, generally just kind of rubs me the wrong way. These guys generally try to push people around with large sums of money, and all of us investors that do this on an individual basis, it's never good for us. It's going to take a lot of effort. We're kind of like the seen Game of Thrones. Even just 4 months ago, we were all in the main action, and maybe the whales were kind of little kingdoms and whatnot. But at this point now, anybody who's not a whale or stock market invested, or excuse me, stock market, a market maker in the coming wave of the stock market, we're kind of like, boom, we're outside the wall now almost. We're like the wildlings. We're going to be fighting our way in and out of any kind of market turbulence, maybe from here on out. And I hate saying it. It kind of gives me a creepy chill even saying it. I know a lot of you guys only have done the cryptocurrency, haven't done the stock market, but it's not good. The stock market can bring, the attention from the stock market can bring more money into this market, can make it seem more lucrative, and maybe some of the swings will be more lucrative. But all of this influence, what it's going to do is, for example, if I just show you on this chart, we see like a piece right here of action here from low to high. Well, basically, once the giant market makers and their algorithm bots start basically causing, it's just damage. They basically damage the market. And basically what happens is this chunk here to here will be owned by them. You'll have no play in that. You'll never be able to determine when the market's going to reverse. We can't really do that now, but it's not going to be a migratory effect where we start doing this and that. And basically the top half will be shaped too. So your new play of action is going to be these middles here and here. Because if you stick around anything too long, their bots are going to shave the market. And if you try to guess the bottom, their bots will play you so hard. You'll never know where the bottom is exactly is going to pop up. And they'll spool up the action so fast that you're never going to be in that nice early portion. And that's going to happen as the whales, the crypto whales, either start hiring stock market, not firms, but software. Basically, they use very high dollar software that you'll never have access to. You'd have to have millions of dollars to have people custom coding this stuff for you. Or I don't even know what kind of market they have among themselves to sell this stuff, but it's a war for them. They want to make the most money. I guess you could say the motivation is similar towards individual investors, but the more money you have in markets, the more you can manipulate the price. It's never a straight buy-sell situation. The more money you have in the market. They're doing things like throwing sell walls. They're doing things like causing the market to dump, and then doing as what some people call is turnarounds or head fakes or whatever you want to call it. That's the influence that's coming, but I'm going to try not to focus on that too much. It's going to unfold over a year. I know I'm starting to make comments on the group like that. Just because I was involved in the stock market, long back as 8 years ago, and I've seen all the tricks. I left the stock market for the most part pretty unhappy with the way it operates. It's a lot of underhanded fake news stuff. I'm not talking about Donald Trump fake news. I'm talking about legitimate hedge funders coming out and admitting that they fake news intentionally, spread it through news medias. They already have their position staked, and they try to do anything they can to jerk people in onto their wagon, just like Wolf of Wall Street crap, but behind closed doors and a little more subtle than outright manipulation like the schemers do. But okay, so I'm going to let that go for now. I just felt like I needed to talk about that. We've got this futures contracts coming in 2 days. My money's still, I'm willing to put a little in here and there, but for the most part, I'm parking it. I don't want to be involved in anything to do with the futures contracts round number 2. We saw what happened, and whether it was directly tied to the futures contracts or not. It's borderline conspiracy theory to talk about it, but yet at the same time, we all know there was influence there, yet the market was due to turn down. So now we're going to start seeing. Now that we've seen the due market turn down, time for the contracts, now we got to see what round 2 does. And we got to see what round 3 and 4 and 5 does. And by round 4, 5, and 6, we're going to start to really feel out how crypto has been kind of the beginning of the invasion has occurred, and we got to all learn to play on a different set of market movement rules. And I'm sorry it's going to be an unpleasant experience, but it is. Let's just leave it at that for now, okay? But okay, I'm going to look at the market chart. Let's go back to the basic. Bitcoin, just a little bit of growth here. We're up to 11.3. It's hovering in a tight little zone lately. Will it go down with the futures contracts? We'll see. Probably. No one can guarantee. We're going to watch. Cardano's moved up to number 5, which is great. Cardano's gotten some recent criticism by, what's his name, Larimer from EOS. It seems like these two are kind of poised to bite at each other. They're protocols with big spotlights on them, and EOS is saying that Cardano's claiming super tight security, while I think the quote was that basically they put a $400 bulletproof vest on them that doesn't stop real bullets. I don't know. I haven't dug into the actual code myself, and I don't intend to. But a comment like that can't be thrown aside. I think the counter criticism of the people that heard that comment is they're saying Cardano has not issued some kind of public answer back to that. They're very slow in the response to that. I don't know if they've issued any kind of response yet. Still, is Cardano going to be this next bulletproof crypto? I don't know, but EOS doesn't think they are. So we'll see. I'm always watching both of those. I've gotten in both of those before. I actually called EOS right before the giant uprise, so I still kind of think EOS has lots to show. EOS though is up to $8 billion. Cardano's doubled at $16 billion. We'll see how that plays out. I'm always watching protocols. I've moved down the list already, and I've saved a couple of bookmarks. We've got ICON has slammed its way up to number 15 on the list. We're at 3 billion. Doing a little good today. Kind of a mediocre chart lately. Exactly what we'd expect at the end of a market crash for any. This is pretty much how. Actually, it's a little more positive than how NEO played out after the summer market crash. Icon's buddy Wanchain, we're still waiting for them to release. And yeah, I mean, it's a high market cap for a lot of these. Does Icon have more room to run? How long will it take? If Icon, is going to run, how long will it take for them to go from 3 billion to 6 billion? You know, it could take some time. We're definitely going to need some news and development. Icon's currently waiting on the mainnet release. Some people say that there's either natural delays in the release for the development or, you know, wisely, anybody throwing out big news right now into the market, it's getting swallowed by, you know, just a market crashes and, you know, bear market chop. Just up, down, up, down. Who wants to throw news into that? Any kind of benefit on your chart, it's going to get swallowed up so fast. And if there's one thing that investment crowds and money markets dislike, it's when big events don't create big action and also lasting action. You know, we don't want to see Icon release their mainnet, get a spike, and then futures contracts maybe dump the market and then goes pow. Like, who wants to see that happen with a mainnet? You know, I hope Icon's, even if their mainnet's ready, I hope they're just giving it a pause because who wants to see that happen? Okay, let's jump to Binance Coin. Binance had such a good run before the crash, and it's had a pretty gnarly result coming out. I think Binance is kind of a nice little metric crypto to watch right now. Still a crowd favorite on the exchange field. You know, I saw one of the recent criticisms of Binance is that you can't really deal well with fractions of coins on the sellout. I wonder if they'll ever fix that condition, because it is a bit of a deterrent to not be able to get all of your crypto out when you're trying to sell off. I do hope they steer to improve that condition, but Binance Coin itself will probably do good for quite some time. I kind of think of Binance at the same time as I think of Robinhood, just because I feel like they've kind of got crowd hype appeal. You know, people ask what exchange to go to. The one I see come out most out of people's mouths online is Binance, and maybe the most anticipated exchange on the track is Robinhood. And I think they're experiencing some delays. I haven't looked in it because I'm not looking to jump into Robinhood, the exchange, immediately. I want to see lots of. It all comes down to you know, how many crypto are they going to hold on the exchange, or how many are going to be easily accessible to exchange, how many exchange pairs, this and that. That's the information I want to see about Robinhood. You know, a lot of us follow KUCOIN as it got released and then developed, and KUCOIN now is kind of a nice platform. I do wish we could see deeper into the bid and ask orders. It's only a couple deep. You got to look at their little micro, you know, sell wall, buy wall chart to see any details. But overall, I like KUCOIN, especially because they show you the U.S. dollar interpretation with a little hover. But anyways, we watched KUCOIN develop, and it took some time. Let's look at their house coin, since that's what I'm talking about now. Yeah, and it's amazing where it came from, because I started watching KUCOIN, you know, right in its first weeks of inception, and I even wrote a chunk of KUCOIN for a little bit, and it had a settling period, so a lot of us got in, and we got out at wherever. It's been so long. I don't know if I caught a full-size ride. But anyways, this is the kind of thing that happens with anything that has lots of competition. And as you know, there's tons of exchanges. And unless you've gone and found an exchange list yourself, I'm telling you, you probably think there's 20, 30 exchanges out there. Nah, there's lists. Just goes on and on and on. Ones you've never even heard of. But I don't think Robinhood's going to stick around too long on the, developers, developing exchange that we don't know how it's going to play out. I think it's probably going to do well if they can just get themselves a nice platform. It's decentralized, which has obviously does attract people. A lot of these exchanges are centralized, and it's just different. I wanted to jump further down to AION and POWR, and the reason why is because they're right next to each other on the coin market cap, 72 and 73. And I like these two because for me, AION was an obvious green light pretty much right after the moment everyone heard about AION, I was already on AION. And Power Ledger itself just kind of came in like from the sky above almost. Everyone was ready for them. And Power Ledger is, of course, sort of famous for a very nice, almost picture-perfect release and well-played marketing. They knew to develop their announcements as this coin took off. And, you just can't criticize it yet. Power just it's kind of hovering around the same spot here, and AION has worked itself up multiple times and has now just kind of named itself a nice big spot here. And it's interesting because AION hasn't gone up. They had a nice little run here, but it's only a doubling even on the bull run here. AION's maintained its crowd opinion about itself, and as everything crashed and everything rose, AION just kind of inched its way up steadily. And as the market crashed, things moved down below AION rather than AION skying above. And the opinion of AION is just generally fairly high, I'd say, with the whole agreement between AION, OneChain, and Icon. AION's just maintained some kind of crowd integrity, and at 379 million, and some could say that's high, but it's not high compared to the ones higher on the list. And with multi-tier crypto, AION's probably not going anywhere. We're going to see more from them, and I haven't checked on their recent announcements. I'm still in bear market mode. I'm not digging out huge potentials right now because you can't expect to get supermoons at any kind of frequency to be worth my time right now. I mean, I've got other things I got to work on, so that's why you're seeing a lot of ICO talk on the groups. People are diverted. They're not looking for moons. A lot of people have money parked in USD or Tether or a few of their safe ones, and a lot of other people, unfortunately, have held everything that they had through the Super Bowl market and straight into the crash. And oh man, I mean, I feel the pain because I took a hit at the top of that bear crash too. And if they held that whole time, then their portfolios probably just got to feel like one giant bruise. And hope everybody's doing okay if you're in that position. Sure, I don't need to tell you, but we hold our breath for a while. We'll see some bull action soon, despite the effects of the stock market, I think. So rolling down to 88, Zcoin was one of the first ones I mentioned again last week, as we were thinking maybe the market's going to start to go up again. Well, that didn't last. The reason I picked Zcoin is because it was my November pick, and it just had one of the most picturesque charts you could ever imagine in its upward cruise. And I caught a nice chunk of that and, just had moved on looking for another moon, and it shot up like crazy here. It's $60 here, though. It could start to be seen that it'd be a miracle to double again, and yet it doubled again. So I like Zcoin because I feel like it's got some stability. As the Lightning Network's release, Zcoin's going to catch another spotlight moment. So I figured it would be safe in the markets. And, well, It has been kind of safe. You know, it's not as volatile as Neo. It's found some floor. I mean, it's resisted the drop that so many crypto have had down to their almost like 30% range where you've lost 70%. So anyway, I like Zcoin. I think there'll be a nice little play there. But now's not the time for me. We've got a lot of green here though. Particle, for example, 17%. Quant stamp moving up. How we doing there? Yeah, pretty dull. It's kind of matching the market. Gaining support. I think quant stamp's definitely ready to get up here the second the market can show some stability. So if it can do that, it'd be about 45 cents up to a 60-cent raise, and it'd be a nice little run to get over a night or two. Substratum cruising back down to 263 million. Let's see here. Definitely took a demolishing. Substratum got the McAfee bump the other day, and it just did almost nothing for it. I think it went up like 10% and then took a dump immediately. I mentioned in my last video, Substratum has what appears to be sell wall manipulation going on. I got kind of a little steamy about it, as you might have noticed if you watched the video. It is what it is. I don't know why Substratum's taken such a deep kind of row here, but it's not in the healthiest of conditions at 118. But, you know, is what it is. A lot of things have done that bad. This has just done especially bad this last couple of weeks. I'm sure Substratum has some, its future ahead. The project itself is interesting. People are interested. Any kind of net neutrality talk brings Substratum back in the spotlight. Lately, someone had shared some news. I think it was Brandon. That some states are starting to throw out their net neutrality rules to counteract the federal BS that is trying to unravel net neutrality in itself. And I think that's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things to see the states throw down the gauntlet at that. It was a flagrant attempt at a power move by that jerk in the FCC. Had no support of the American people, yet tried to yank out net neutrality rules. Obviously, a shill puppet crony. I don't usually talk like that, but that's what he is. He's one of the most hated guys in America right now, and he earned himself this spot. He did not speak for the people, and that's where we are with that. Substratum, well, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm going to jump to topics. A little political theory coming out, but let's see here. Let's pop in one more. Let's go on to page number 2 real quick. Sophia. Sophia's done another 26. You don't hear much talk about Sophia. Tied to that robot AI in Saudi Arabia. I don't know anything much about this project any deeper than anyone else does at this point. Who's pushing this one at this point? I don't know. I'm not even gonna get into it too deep. I just kind of wanted to look at the chart with you. It's been fairly stable. Let's see here, 145. It didn't even go 50%, and it's already catching its steam. Maybe Sophia has a good future. Maybe we should look deeper into that. It's still pretty young, only about 25 days old. Chart-wise, I gotta say, guys, it's an impressive chart. If the market was going green, I feel like this chart, either here or if it was down, here, at this point, we're looking at a nice substantial support level through a very grisly market conditions, and maybe Sophia has good market play here. We see here the volume's rising. The average volume in the 24-hour period is going up to 2.5 mil after a slower period. Well, the sell-off wasn't that crazy, so people are buying. Sophia's circulating supply, it's about in the halfway of the total supply. It's not very greedy compared to a lot of what we see. I don't know. I'm not going to look into it. Not right now. This has been quite a big run already. CIVIC pushed its way all the way down to 105. I mean, Civic was a top 20 not long ago, and I kind of said at the time, repeatedly, Civic's not performing. I think it was around here I said Civic is not destined to be a big performer. Had multiple conversations about this in groups and whatnot. And, you know, they caught the Super Bowl run with a little bit of leg of action. I remember they were one of the latest ones to show up with the action. And it went from about 38 to $1.30. So, you know, close to a tripling. And not shabby performance, but, you know, where'd their market cap go? And actually, where did they go compared to everybody else's market cap that has just gone insane during that bull run? And basically, Civic is an identity crypto, identity information crypto. I just didn't feel that they were that pressing. The world isn't sitting here saying, you know, I want a cryptocurrency that has all my identifying information on it. I don't know why I would want to put my driver's license, my passport, all my ID information onto a crypto. It would add convenience to companies that want to use your ID information, but to me it's a big put out because I don't want one entity to have all that information easily accessible and usable. You know, crypto itself, it tries to be hack proof and whatnot, but I don't feel that the market was going to rush to Civic concept and with dire need, the way other cryptos kind of rise that desire to invest and support it. You know, Civic's had its run. I'm sure it'll have its day. There's probably some need for identifying information in the blockchain world. I just don't know. I feel like it's one that was destined to be like a first arriver that was going to get slaughtered because it's too central and too personal what they want from you. I don't think that's going to stop them all the way, but I'm leaving it at that for the coin market cap today. We covered a couple handfuls there. Hope you guys are faring well in your trades. I know that the consensus now in the groups, I myself have put out a bunch of posts at this point of, you know, be wary. So I wasn't the only one. I'm glad a lot of the other people that are chatting in the groups are picked up on it as well. I think we saved a lot of money. If you're going in that day trading route, there's money to be made. Just time things well. It's not worth gaining 20 to 40% right now at the risk of losing 40 to 60%, you know, in a day or two. We make our best runs in a bull market, and when there's so many unknown elements we're at play, you really got to weigh it out. And I know a lot of the people in the groups that I'm always talking with, you know, it's a range. You know, a big chunk have been trading for a long time. A big chunk have kind of been in this for a little bit, and another big chunk of you guys are new to this. And if you're new to this, you know, it's just not emotionally fun or fun for your eyes on the portfolio to just get slapped from one rock to the other, you know, like a baby seal by a shark. So choppy markets are real brutal, and a crash like the one we just had, as we see in the global, has led to, you know, various stages of choppy markets. And, you know, every day we're almost threatening another little crash. And it's not that the crypto market can't create support here. It's just that so far the crash has only erased a small chunk of activity. We might have support and we might be able to grow. We might have choppy markets, especially with these futures contracts. But as I've mentioned, if the market was down here or down here, you know, a little bit into the future down here, that's when at that point I'd be going, boom, let's get in full force. Let's find everything that was, you know, now has too low of a market cap. That feels like an incredible deal that I know will go up soon. I don't like to get into things and wait them out if I don't have to. I'd rather trade hands as needed to catch, you know, individual rises on individual cryptos. You know, I see that future, the most ideal version of that future being around here. It's not necessarily going to be the case. but in crash markets, I'm bearish. I feel out the safety level, and at which point I know that the whales will have beat up the risk takers so bad here that finally the risk takers stop reinvesting. They finally just get tired out. They don't want any more punishment, and the whales play that activity and finally go, okay, guys, we're staked in. We bought up everything at the lowest prices. Now we're ready to let the market go up again. And that's the way crashes work. If you look back at the August crash, or same thing happened. Let's zoom in and have a little look at that again. Was it September, August? This seemed like such a major crash back then. I remember all you guys probably suffering quite a bit. All the Neo riders and everybody there. I was watching the market. I wasn't heavily involved in the market through that ride, but I saw the Neo call. It was clear as day, and a lot of people made a lot of money and it crashed out. And my guess is that a lot of the people that were trading that time are looking at the current market crash, and they're waiting for that same immediate recoil. Could be the case, but when you look at the difference here, back then the market cap went from 180 billion down to 104 billion. When you consider the percentages, it's similar, but when you consider the sheer difference in market cap, we went this last time, we go from 832 billion down to 478 billion. There could be more room to run low, and this is actually a critical juncture again. And I don't like sounding like a broken record on at any point in time, but 1, 2, 3, you can still catch a little bit of a lower downfall here. We're just gonna have to wait it out. If anything, these future contracts are gonna squeeze it out quicker than we might have normally happened. But the replay from the July crash, I think a lot of people were expecting it here. I was willing to kind of consider it here. I called a little bandwidth here that if escaped would either above or below would lead to a run, and if re-entry into that red band would lead to the opposite reaction. So I popped in money there. It would have been a nice 2-day trade, but immediately reversed back on me, and I for my own personal call on that one, said, no, the risk is imminent at this point. And we all saw, a torrent of people pulling out again, and good times. But all right, guys, I'm going to close it down there. Global market's still controlling everything to a heavy degree. So just getting harder to play the market as a whole reliably. There's still good ones in there. Hold tight. I'll see you again pretty soon here. Seems like the videos are back on par and I'm ready to go. So, all right. Happy trading, guys. I'm out. Peace.